Welcome back to theCUBE, here on the ground in San Jose. It's NVIDIA GTC 2026, and I'm here at the AIC booth. And joining me now for a conversation on all things storage is CT Sun, VP of Engineering at AIC, and Pompey Nagra, AI Marketing Ecosystem Manager at Solidigm. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
This is certainly an interesting booth from the perspective of what's happening here behind me, right? It's a mixture of tech meets a beautiful mind.
Yep.
But before we get into that, maybe you could both just share a little bit about your companies, what it is that you do for those who might not be familiar.
Okay, so start with you.
Start with you.
With me? Okay, so AIC, we've been in industry for 30 years. We focus a lot on storage. But with not only storage, but also a lot of server storage related product, AI server, and not recently, like 5-6 years, we focus more on AI storage. And right now, it looks like the AI storage demand is so huge. So we've been working with Solidigm in the very first day on the AI journey.
Wow.
Yes, Solidigm is a SSD manufacturer and designer. So we build various different form factors for our partners, AIC and others, where we sell different form factors, E1.S, E3.S, which are used in different storage and server platforms to store AI data at the fast rates it's required at today.
Okay, so let's just break this down for a second. NVIDIA provide the GPU, you provide the flash drive, you provide the rack, right? But we know
provide the platform, yes.
The platform. It's about a lot more right now than just space, right? It's about so many things, especially in this inference era. It's a hot word on the ground here this week. Jensen talked a lot about it. We're moving to execution mode. What does that mean for your businesses? Like, how is that driving change, opportunity across both of your spaces?
Right. Actually, in the booth, we demonstrate the whole AI data journey from the creation of the data, right? And then in AI storage, what you need is not only dealing with latency because you need to feed a lot of data to GPU, as well as you need to have enough capacity because the AI generated data is more than you get the data from the natural world, right? That is one. That is a huge, huge opportunity out there with this AI booming, right? So that is actually on the G4. But at the same time, in the inferencing, you can see all the heavy cache demand drive even more storage. So every tier, probably, can I spend more time on this?
Sure, please do.
So for the G1, is inside the GPU, so it's a HBM. And also G2 is a system memory. So G3 is a local SSD. So this alone is inside the GPU box. But those KV cache, when you create those content, it will keep increase and increase. And one day overflow, you need still have something to keep it. So you have G3.5, we call it content extended memory storage.
Content memory extension.
Yeah, so you have this storage that is G3.5. And then these are in the beginning we talk about AI storage, right? So these are all for dealing with heavy cache for inferencing.
Right.
Wow.
So as CT was explaining, the vast amounts of data that AI is producing need to be captured, stored, manipulated, and moved. Solidigm, the leading provider in SSDs, is able to take that data, store it in an AIC platform so that the GPUs can take that data and make sure that it can manipulate, calculate, and do the next level of processing through the AI systems that we've powered with our SSDs.
And what are the competitive dynamics around flash drives versus DRAM or pure cloud storage? Like, how does this shape the inference requirements across the board?
Right. So from a storage perspective, there's a need to store this data at low latency, but the storage needs to be local, so high capacity.
Okay.
So these combined with the next generation technology such as PCIe Gen 6, PCIe Gen 7 that's coming, allows us to take that data at very high speeds, store it so the GPUs and CPUs can retrieve, write, and read from the data, read from the disk, sorry, and manipulate the data through the systems that's delivered through by AIC.
Yeah, so let me put more color on this. Not only on the, of course, Solidigm playing a very crucial part. You provide a very low latency SSD, at the same time have different level of high capacity.
Correct.
Right? But for the platform we provide to the market, we need to accommodate on this drive. At the same time, we need to deal in with outside storage network,
Right.
provide the 200 gig network, 400 gig, and then right now we are talking about 800 gig. So dealing with this, and the infrastructure, it won't be the same as right now. So a lot of time we deal with disaggregation in the storage architecture, right? So that we also provide the DPU using NVIDIA BlueField 1, BlueField 3, and then we will move to BlueField 4 on this disaggregation storage architecture. So at the same time, we're dealing with latency. And because you need a very flexible architecture to build up the storage tier, so that BlueField can offload everything to disaggregation data box, and our box is high availability. That makes sure all the content we keep in the box, it won't gone because the system will keep running. We have multiple controller keep the data alive. If one controller dies, we can just take over from the other controller. So that is keeping, because AI storage is actually a enterprise level storage.
Okay.
So that is a lot of game change here in AI era.
Let's stay on BlueField for a second, because it did get some press yesterday, right?
Yes.
From the perspective of NVIDIA, which is right here, okay? It's on
Yes.
middle layer.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about how the announcements yesterday impact your business specifically, CT. Like,
Yes.
how do you expect this to play into your model for the year ahead?
Okay, so we've been working with NVIDIA on BlueField before they launch.
Oh, wow, okay.
So BlueField 1, 2017 when they launched, we already have bugs ready for that. And back then nobody knows what Smart NIC DPU storage was. And right now, like, everybody talk a lot, but we've been shipping a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been shipping on G4 because right now the DPU, we can, NVMe over Fabric, you can move data. You have very flexible in storage architecture point of view.
Yep.
But for processing power in BlueField 4, because they changed to different processing power, they're gonna integrate Vera with CX9. With Vera, because you have 6488 ARM core inside, right? You have enough computing power. At the same time, LPDDR5X, you have a very high throughput, low latency memory. That is actually crucial for a storage application. So I believe BlueField 4 will change the landscape of storage faster than we think in a very near term. Because for G3.5 and G4, it will move to BlueField 4 very fast.
So
if you take a look at what the real BlueField's doing, to TT's point, you got 800 gigs of traffic coming into the system. And so with the ability to store that traffic, you need to be able to not just store that traffic, but make sure it's highly available should a system go down. So the amount of storage capacity at low latency that's required in any one system at any one try grows exponentially.
For sure.
And so if you take a look at the vast size of an AI system, a superpod from NVIDIA, the amount of storage and processing that's needed grows exponentially. And that's why we're here today. I'm excited to be here.
That's why Solidigm right now selling very.
Yeah. That's why they're making so much. They're making so much money off it.
Even Jensen say, "Oh, you guys are rich."
I love it.
I think he said you're richer, didn't he?
No.
Okay, so drinks are on both of you guys tonight.
There you go.
Let's talk about the world of ODM for a second, because it is a very interesting time from the perspective of customer expectations,
Yes.
market narrative and hype, and I'm sure reality on the ground, right? It's also a perfect storm. We've seen a lot of supply chain challenges, a lot of geopolitical strife, which of course impact your businesses and your ability to meet supply and demand.
Yes.
Right.
How are things shifting, like month to month, from the perspective of what's actually happening in your factories?
So from a storage perspective, obviously the market's seen there's a supply shortage that's impacting a lot of customers. We have to prioritize with the bits that we get and deliver what we can get as soon as we can get them. So it's a matter of execution and delivery on that execution to the promises we make to our partners and our customers.
So it's almost like a tiering model, like you have no other choice, right?
We have
I'm
no
sure.
absolutely, right? Well, we have to just execute with what we have, deliver what we have the best way we can do it. And Solidigm's meeting those customer expectations as best and as fast as we can.
And for you, CT, I mean, Taiwan gets a lot of news, right? It gets a lot of fear stirs from time to time.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts? Like, what's it like for you from a supply and demand perspective?
So, well, as Taiwanese, right, we stand very strong.
Absolutely.
And we life as usual.
Absolutely.
We are working with all the industry, try to supply all the demand, understand what this market knows, try to keep us normal. But we are normal. But yeah, right now because the demand is too high, everything changed, right? Like the demand and supply gap is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So in coming next few quarter, well, the demand and supply gap might continue to another 2-3 years. So at the same time, I think we need Solidigm's help to get some allocation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think this is a big time.
Yeah.
So one thing we know about supply and demand challenges is often it turns out to be a cost challenge too, right?
Yes.
Costs get crunched and customers often suffer the impacts of those.
Wow.
You know, how do you continue to like manage expectations from the perspective of scale, speed, cost? Like, how do you weigh that up?
That is his portion. Our portion will always be very cheap. No, we have good product for sure.
Like, but is cost, I guess, you know, in this moment we're in, right, where it's a speed race, it's a scale race.
Right.
Is it still a cost race?
It's always a cost race because, time equals cost, right? People want product instantly. They can't grow the data centers fast enough. They want to move. And that's a good place to be. Unfortunately, just because of the industry dynamics, we can only deliver what we can deliver when we can deliver it. And that's a hard way to say, it's a situation. We'd love to service our customers. We love our customers and our partners, and we want to give them the best solution possible at the rate they want to have it at.
Thank you in advance.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So it's Monday, we're all back to work. NVIDIA GTC is behind us for another year. What's ahead for both of you? What are the key priorities between now and the end of 2026?
Well, in 2026, 2027, 2028, we'll keep on this pyramid, try to fulfill. I did not talk about the SCADA because this is also very special. This is a tier to close the gap. So these all memory tiers, right? So memory tier always have different level of gap because from here to here is one with 5 after, right? So that is a huge gap. So we need to invent or work with industrial leader to close this gap. So in this year, next year, coming few years, although the old pricing stuff, we still want to provide product for customer so they can close the gap.
Yeah. And the pressure from context memory will only further widen that gap?
That is true. Because remember how many GPU NVIDIA selling. Jensen mentioned 100 million, and those will go to Inference. and then those inference GPU will create content, and then goes down to G3, G3.5, G4, right? That is, they say KV cache, they will need a G3 for 16 terabyte capacity.
Wow.
And then this is shared storage for everybody and include application, right? For KV cache alone, it's 4 terabyte.
Right.
Wow.
So you can do the mathematics. You have 100 million GPU times this. That is this alone, probably 10x storage right now.
Well, it's a great time to have an offload option, right?
Right.
So from your perspective, this is very opportunistic, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
What's ahead for you and the team at Solidigm?
So really, it's again delivering on the needs of the market, understanding the industry needs. So KV cache, obviously, we're playing in that place. We're looking at what the needs and requirements are, executing to our roadmap. In addition to this, the framework of the server is also changing. It's
Yes.
going from an air-cooled device to a liquid-cooled device. Our E1.S we introduced last year at GTC is a liquid-cooled SSD where we have cold plates that are all serviceable in a NVIDIA environment if that was to be the case.
Wow.
So the VR platform, the Vera Rubin platform, is all liquid-cooled. And so those liquid-cooled platforms, as well as the KV cache platforms, the STX, the CMX, powered by AIC, all requires that level of ability to be cooled and deliver on the capacity with the low latency, and we're excited to be able to deliver those products.
And do you envision far more liquid cooling as a core model? Do you think we're going to see more and more of this? I mean, it's expensive, right? It has its challenges too. It's difficult to plug. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So I think if you take a look at the physics of the environment, the servers are getting faster, the servers are getting more powerful, which means they're getting hotter. They need to be cooled. A lot of the servers today are liquid cooled, but they need to extend that to the memory which is being done, as well as the storage. So I think liquid cooling becomes a paramount requirement in the next generation series of servers.
Wow. Well, exciting
And
times.
storage. Yeah,
Exciting times,
absolutely.
especially to be a
Lot of
company
change.
that's
Yeah.
been in the market for 30 years. I'm sure you're seeing a lot of change, a lot of excitement and opportunity ahead for
Yep.
both of you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Thanks
we're
so much
excited
for
the
joining
future.
us on theCUBE.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks much.
Well,
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm Gemma Allen. It's GTC 2026. We're here at the AIC booth talking all things storage. Thanks so much for watching.